Just Hockey is the largest supplier of hockey equipment in Australia. With a full range of sticks, pads, shoes and safety equipment, check out the website for the store nearest you, all the specials and the latest hockey news from around the world on Go Hockey News. Just Hockey. It's all hockey.
Welcome to Skill Up this week. Today we're going to work on some flexibility and mobility. As I'm sure you're aware, hockey is a sport that demands you to get in all kinds of positions. Because of this, we need to make sure that we can get into them safely and effectively, and in those positions we're going to be strong and mobile. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is stretching out our hip flexors here, okay? This is really important because in hockey we get stuck in this bent over position all day long, and then our hip flexors get really short and really tight. So we need to come up with ways to make sure that we mobilize and extend our hips properly. So this is our standard hip flexor stretch. You'll notice that I'm keeping my trunk quite upright because what we're trying to do is extend through this area here. We're not bending forward, we're pushing our hips forward, okay? Make sure that you keep your hip in a strong position by squeezing your glute. That'll set your hips, and then just push forward to lengthen through this area. So if you want to make the stretch a little bit harder or a bit more full on, we can look at pulling through the front of your heel here. So we're pushing through the glute, pulling through the heel and getting a nice pull there, and then throw one arm up over the top so we extend the stretch down our side. So we want to make sure we pull back through the heel here using your hamstring muscle so it pulls on the hip on the other side. So the next one we're going to talk about is the hamstring. How many of you have seen someone go up, do their hamstring stretch, bend over and touch their toes? Yeah, good hammies, no issues. But you're wrong. The important thing you got to realize is that when you're doing that, it's all through your back and we're not actually getting a decent stretch to our hamstring. So the best technique that you could really employ is to put the leg out straight in front of you on the ground, keep your hips set and flex forward at the hip and keep a nice straight line through your back, but holding the straightest line possible through your trunk. You can pull the toes back if you want to, and this just changes the type of feeling you'll get through the stretch. You should really be feeling this stretch all the way along your hamstring, but probably predominantly down the distal end, down towards your knee. So for a little bit of variation with this stretch for the hamstring, we can look at just changing the angle with which you're trying to take your chest towards the ground. This will be helpful as well in helping you figure out where exactly you are tight in your hamstring, because it does cover the whole area of the back of your leg. So sometimes you might be a little bit tighter on the outside or on the inside, and this can help you determine that. Just like you don't get really good at hockey overnight, stretching and flexibility needs to be done over a long period of time. So we want to look to hold these stretches for at least a minute. Another important aspect for hockey is to make sure that we've got good range of motion around our ankle. We want to make sure that we can get that heel to the ground and take the knee as far forward as possible. A really good way of measuring this is to do what's called a knee to wall test. The knee to wall test involves putting your foot flat on the ground and then trying to take your knee to the wall. We want to measure the distance between your toe and the wall and keep moving back until we get to the point where our heel starts to lift off the ground. Making sure that you've got good range of motion at your ankle is very important for hockey. You can monitor it and measure it with the knee to wall and make sure you're going to be able to run efficiently and effectively all season long. The last bit we're going to talk about today in our flexibility and mobility segment is thoracic mobility, okay? We need to make sure as hockey players that we've got the ability to rotate around a far distance. It's going to help us with our swing, with our lunging, all the rotating and changing direction that we do in the game of hockey. In this exercise that I'm about to do now, I'm going to work on my thoracic extension, okay? Lifting my shoulders up as much as I can. So, put yourself face first down on the ground, head down, and then we're going to lift our arms up, making sure that we lift through our upper back and not through your lower. This next exercise is designed to work on our thoracic rotation so that we're able to effectively swing through our hips and change direction well. Putting one arm out in front of us, we reach forward with the other and then pull back like we're pulling the string of a bow and arrow all the way across, and watch your hand go out to the other side. We want to make sure that we keep our knees held there as we pull back and across so that our hips don't rotate with us. Obviously with this exercise we have two hips, so we need to go both sides. So in general with your breathing, while you're doing your stretches, always make sure to take deep, long breaths and not holding your breath, okay? So as I'm doing this exercise, you breathe in, breathe out, and just let yourself drape over. If you hold your breath, you'll tend to find that you just hold on to that muscular tension, which we're trying to release. All right, so that's it for today. I'm feeling loosened up, I'm feeling better. Remember, we want to be doing this as regularly as possible if you actually want to develop your flexibility. Just doing it before matches and just doing it after won't be enough if you want to develop your flexibility and your range of motion. You got to work on it just like you work on your hockey. Thanks for joining us again, guys, and we'll see you again for Skill Up next week.